all you recovering emo kids. Amanda and Robb here with the Emo Kids Anonymous podcast. Welcome to our Wednesday episode. How you doing today, Robb?
I'm doing great, Amanda. One of the best days. I don't know if you noticed. I got a new microphone here.
You do.
I got a new microphone. I won't talk super close to it. I'll hold back. I don't know why.
Are you gonna use your hands like Will Ferrell does in Talladega Nights? I don't know what to do with my hands.
I know. I never know what to do with my hands. Yeah, and just I get a lot of phallic feelings from this mic. So I like sometimes
picked a
I
hell
just
of
be
a
thinking
mic.
about BBC, big blue condenser microphone. Yeah, that's what it stands for. Shout out to the Brits.
That was my first too at one point. My first kind of mic. Yeah, Blue Yeti.
So I'm just like, I don't know. So yeah. I don't know. It might take me a second to adapt. I hope you can work with me, Amanda, here. But by the way, anyone watching this right now, do us a favor, smash the shit out of that like button, subscribe button, the notification bell, all those things you're supposed to do on the internet. Go ahead and give us that kind of engagement. On top of that, go over your TikTok, your Instagram, your Twitter, not your Facebook, because only your uncle and your aunts, the worst ones, are on Facebook. Prescribe to us over there on those channels as well. Are they channels? Are they feeds? Are they platforms? Are they pages? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But either way, do it for us.
Yeah. Do it for us,
and I also
please.
heard a request. Yeah, I heard a request from our boss that I have to tell you. The EKA camisoles are not for sale. You can't buy your own camisole. That being said, you can buy a blouse version. Blouse version comes with sleeve right here.
Like
sleeve
these,
you can
like
take
this
off
shirt.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Sleeves
blouse.
right
Yeah,
there.
long sleeve blouse. I wouldn't wear longer sleeve than this personally, but if I were to, I would wear it on blouse from Never Phase Network. Now, why did I go into the babushka accent? I don't know. I apologize. But neverphasenetwork.com, where you get your blouses. You get 1 for 20, you get 2 for 40, you get 3 for 60, 4 for 80. You could even, I believe, I haven't talked to the higher ups yet, but I believe you can get 5 of these for 100. And there's rumors that when you buy these, you're entered into a raffle, and eventually someone's going to win a 2011 Honda Pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that as well?
I did not, but it sounds fantastic.
I feel like if we just say it.
I think that in 2011, a Honda Pilot would have been like the cat's meow, but in 2025.
Yeah, it's a 2011 Honda Pilot. I don't know. I don't want to say an exact mileage because we're going to have to find this vehicle on carguru.com, and we're going to have to convince Ryan to buy it.
That's our boss.
And a lot of other things. Yeah, that's our boss. Boss. Sorry, Ryan. A lot of boss references now.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to have to talk the higher ups into buying it. But yeah, there is rumors that everyone who follows and prescribes and subscribes to this program and on this platform, the one you're watching it on, is entered into a contest to possibly win, a 2011 Honda Pilot with anywhere from 80 to 120,000 miles. 6-disc changer, original engine. Panoramic moonroof, maybe, Ryan?
Maybe. This seems like a long shot. This seems like a long shot.
Big ass. Not 1 owner car, 2 to 4 owner car.
Might be
2 to 4 owner car.
One of them might have been a rental car company that owned it.
One of them might have been a rental car company. One of them might have been doing math down south of the border. And I ain't talking about fractions. I'm talking about the shit you smoke in a light bulb.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
This reminds me of a funny story of my time when I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because people would do runs to Florida, weekend runs, to get the pills. And
you go get the perks, the Vikes,
they would
the Somes.
They would rent cars from us. They would always want to pay in cash, which meant they had to give us 2 proofs of like income or that they like were stable or good for it. So they'd be like a electric bill and the rent or whatever, along with cash. We'd always make them pay way over like a deposit because we know that they would drop the cars off Sunday night when they knew we weren't going to be there. They drop them off covered in ash from their cigarette butts.
Smoking
absolutely ruined.
Marlboros and Newports and that motherfucker.
And then my ass is up there at 5:30 in the morning on a Monday morning in heels and a dress like outfit, like a suit and suit pants, cleaning these things with a suit that I bought from Limited, which is probably like $100.
Just like Hillary Rodham at the mall.
Yep, exactly. I'm telling you
Hillary Rodham at the outlets.
So that's my story for everyone today. Yeah, those drug runners to Florida to get those pills from Kentucky.
Shout out to the drug runners to Florida from Kentucky. Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys are doing a service, whether or not it's a bad service or good service. I don't
we
know.
don't know.
I'm not the boss of saying that, but it is technically a service. We here at Emo Kids
Exactly.
Anonymous neither endorse nor denounce said drug running.
Exactly. I don't know if it
Yeah,
happens
we're
anymore, but
yeah, we're neutral on it. Oh, I bet it still
I
happens.
know. To be fair, it was around the time of the Great Recession, so I bet everyone's hard up for cash.
Honestly, yeah, we can validate it like that. I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah. But on today's episode, we're going to talk about a really interesting topic that kind of came up in my mind when I read a Rolling Stone article called Drumageddon. And the article was about the fact that recently, and the most obvious example is what happened with the Foo Fighters with John Freeze, and just the
Joshua Freeze,
Josh,
yes,
yes,
he
thank
was
you.
done dirty.
Yes, he
Yes.
was. And basically, they were switching drummers, letting drummers go. And it's not just the Foo Fighters, it's
No, it's not
across
just
the
the
board.
adulterers. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen band replacements happen in our own scene over the years. Rob and I were also on an episode of Chords and Riffs with our friend Super Gibby, which will air
Gibby.
probably after this.
Gibby's my guy. I
Yes,
like Gibby.
same.
Yeah, I like this guy a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about our top 10 vocal replacements. And so we're
I
going to.
didn't feel good about a lot of my picks. I honestly
I felt great
didn't
about
feel
my
good
number one.
I didn't feel very good about your picks at all, Amanda. One of the worst things I've ever heard you say.
No, my number one pick was amazing. But anyway, so
Just you have to watch to see what that is.
yes, I'm not going to give it away. But yeah, we're going to talk about, when is a band, when they start replacing band members, is it still the same band? And when is it not? So we're going to dive into that a little bit today. But before we dive into it, let's quickly talk about some of the news happening on the scene. And we had a couple new albums. Deftones released a new album. Hot Mulligan released a new album.
Yeah.
You haven't heard the Deftones new album yet.
So the thing is with both of those bands, they fall under what I would consider red flag bands, and that's not anything against the bands specifically. I believe both bands are great, credible bands that make incredible music. But fellas, look,
Yep.
short, ugly white guy over here, 2 kids, 2 baby mamas. Maybe I'm not the guy to go to for dating advice, but if a lady says her favorite band is Hot Mulligan or she says her favorite band is the Deftones, you run the other way. No offense to said women who might be listening to this show. I'm sure you're great. But new Deftones, I haven't dove into much.
Private
One
music.
of the better of the new metal bands. It's nice, right? It's
Oh
nice.
yeah, I'm a big fan. I listened to it pretty much on the whole way down and back when I went to go see the Paradox and Plain White Tees at the Summer Vibes Festival. Yep, that was my soundtrack because let's face it, the Paradox only has 5 songs out right now, so it was very easy to
barely out of your fucking driveway.
I was like, oh, done with that. Now I got to listen to something else. It's a 2.5-hour drive down there, so I'm a big fan of private music. I like the direction the Deftones are taking with their sound. I am a fan of the new music. I know that there have been some people complaining about it, but I think that comes par for the course when a band decides to play around with their sound and evolve a little bit. It tends to happen. Yeah, I'm going to say big fan of the Deftones. And then Hot Mulligan is another
enjoy the
new
Hot
one.
Mulligan record. Yeah, it's a nice record. Yeah. Nice record. Enjoyable enough. Doesn't make me feel as much as I would like to feel when I listen to music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I heard the song, the Monica Lewinsky song with dad stuff. I also, too, have a dead parent, so I relate. It's a sad song. But I don't love the record as much as I'd like, which leaves me thinking it's a personal thing, you know what I mean? Because a lot of these bands we talk to, they love the homos over in Hot Mulligans, and the like. Big homo heads. Maybe I gotta give it another go, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of great things about is it the sound the body makes when it's still is the name of the album. And it's definitely a little bit different than their previous albums. I like it. I'm a fan of the new record. I need to sit with it a little bit more, but so far I'm digging Hot Mulligan's direction, and they're definitely what I would consider a band that is going to help, keep the scene alive.
Yes.
For sure. Like you need a band like them right now. To keep this music in the front and center of like not just like our scene, but the mainstream as well. So
yeah, that's the thing as well too. Is like I feel like they are. I was talking to someone recently, someone who endorses our podcast on an official level, Scott Records.
Yes.
But it's just a thing where it's like, it feels to me like they're kind of like the modern day TBS, I would say, in the sense that they feel very popular in the mainstream world,
Yeah, they do.
despite there maybe being more popular bands in our world. And that's not a derogatory thing or a slur. Like that's a good thing. We need bands like that to be drawing people into everything else. And they seem to be, for the most part, giving back into our world as well.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like we have, an interview with Saturday's Ear Place coming up. Tades from Hum Mulligan directed their last couple of videos.
Yeah.
There's things like that where like we're all kind of working together here. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like they're nice. They're good torch bearers, I guess you would say.
I agree. Yeah. And so, with that, beyond the new albums, let's also talk about something else. I didn't mention it before we started the podcast, but in terms of vocal replacements, we do have to talk about this. When right before Taking Back Sunday started their tour up again with Coheed and Cambria, we had gotten news that John Nolan was leaving and being
Shit, yeah.
replaced again by Fred. And a lot of people were going on about how happy they were and this and that. But then John reveals
Fucking animals, yeah.
that,
Fucking
in
animals.
fact, there's a reason that he's doing this. He has a degenerative, disc in his cervical spine, and he is going through surgery. A lot of people were, conjecturing that it was like a personal thing and there was beef or something was happening. In fact, the man is injured. The man's in
Yeah.
pain, and
He's on the IR.
yeah, and so shout out to John. I hope that he is, getting all the help he needs to get better, and I hope he recovers quickly, because no matter what era of TBS you like or which co-vocalist you prefer with Adam, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. These guys are getting older. All these guys are going through surgeries because
It's
they threw their bodies
probably
around.
not, yeah, I was gonna say it's really not natural to have a job where your job is to wear a, 10 to 20 pound piece of wood
No,
strapped across your back
no,
at varying lengths of lowness and just swinging it around for, anywhere from an hour to 3 hours a night or a day or whatever.
yes.
Like, it's not natural.
So I had made a TikTok about Pete Wentz made a comment in what is it? Was it Brazil? No, it wasn't Brazil. It was Japan. They were just in Japan for Fall Out Boy was for a festival, and he had
The
mentioned,
Nation?
yes, the nation. Yes, it was called Summer
I thought
Sonic.
you meant the city.
No,
Summer Sonic. I know Summer
yeah,
Sonic.
I've always wanted to go, but that's expensive, so
Yeah.
it's not cheap.
I'm
But he
weary of
mentioned
the
about he
Japanese.
threw his back out, and I had made a video about this, and someone in the comments was like, and I said, I guess he shouldn't be that flame bass that he has. He's a bass that,
It's got the shit on it too.
yeah,
Yeah, that's probably,
exactly.
yeah, that's
And someone's like,
heavy.
well,
And
it's
he's a little
only,
guy, right?
yeah, he's like 5'7", 5'6", 5'6", and not very heavy either himself. And someone
Yeah.
in the comments was like, it's only 19 pounds. He just needs to lift
You know
more
how
weights.
heavy
And I
that
said,
is to just
have
lug
you?
around all for
Yeah, I was like, have
hours?
you
Yeah.
held something like that, or strapped around you for days at a time? Like, yeah, it might be 19 pounds, but if you're swinging it or holding it, that is not easy. That will wear your body down. Are you kidding me right now? It low key annoyed me a little bit by that
Mm,
comment. I was like, you don't know what it's like to have that
It's
strapped
so
around
heavy.
you.
I mean, you look at the first Blink-182 hiatus, a lot of that and the craziness around the start of Angels is Tom is legging around and he's switched from the Fender, the Stratocaster to the big bodied Gibson thing where it's a big heavy body guitar. It's if you're playing it too low, a lot of our guys aren't playing it up high, jazz, comfortable area. Perfect posture isn't as much of a thing. You grew up playing any sort of semblance of a punk rock band, yeah, your body's gonna get fucked up playing this stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna happen as you get older. Even if you lift weights, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you guys can lift all the weights you want. You're still not gonna be a powerhouse, and you still might not save yourself from degenerative disc issues.
No,
That's what
exactly
I
right.
always say. Yeah.
Yeah, so here's us wishing John Nolan a speedy recovery as he goes through
Shout out
that.
John Nolan. Yeah.
So what else you have for us, Rob?
I want to talk about myself, Amanda.
I figured.
I want to talk about how recently, as you may have recognized this face. I've recently been featured on a Netflix documentary. I don't know if you knew this.
I might have seen this,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, many are saying that I am really kind of one of the possible Emmy nominees for Best Supporting Role
In a
in a short 1-second clip of a documentary. So I'm minding my own business, enjoying a nice ribeye with the blue cheese crumbles on top. with the
Fancy.
leftover spinach. Yeah, I liked to go fancy in the middle of the night when I'm on dinners. And I'm put on the Liver King documentary because, I would like to see what the Liver King was doing. Weirdly enough, I think I put this documentary on like 2 or 3 times before and made it like pretty deep in. But I'm, minding my own business, just fucking hanging out, looking down at my telephone, iPhone preferably, and I heard my own voice and it set me into a bit of psychosis. So I look upwards and I don't see my own body or face, so I rewind it, very confused. And then I am watching, and at about the 3-minute mark of the new Netflix Untold Liver King series, I'm as seen on Netflix, I guess. Yeah, I saw me, because I was at WrestleMania a couple years ago. It was in LA, and I bought a solo ticket because they had this deal where it was like you could like have a standing room only area,
Oh, yeah,
and it
yeah.
was like $30. But it's like I've had season tickets at SoFi since it's open. It's like I know this stadium. I can maneuver my way around. Like I know what to do. Like I'll just get me in the building. I'm fine. And sure enough, like, I met some nice guys and I'm like, here, I'm going to show you over. We're going to go in this section. I went in this section. I went over and accidentally like wandered in this VIP section where like there's this one gentleman, Logan Paul's. He has a brother, Jacob Paul.
Yes.
And Jacob Paul's over there and this, that. I'm just this or that. Like we're all A-list influencers of the social media landscape. And then the Liver King walks up and I see him with his family and I've seen his videos. And I once tried very hard to con my buddy King Justini into eating raw liver. It didn't work because he was afraid of the cholesterol, but I was so close to convincing this guy.
I'm sure it is a
And I
lot of
see the Liver
cholesterol.
King. Yeah, I see the Liver King and I'm just like, well, I'm gonna go ham it up with him. And we hug. And let me just say, Liver King, he's got a stink on him. Remarkable stink.
Oh, so
Remarkable
that's
stink.
legit. Okay.
Oh no, the stink on the Liver King. Yeah, he does bathroom outside. He does shower outside. He does a lot of things outside as opposed
What?
to inside. Yeah, he doesn't acknowledge the modern man-made magistry that is plumbing and the like. He doesn't
That's
do
not
normal
real.
baths. No, it's real. He doesn't have a bed frame. And look, I got a lot of homies that don't have bed frames, but like he does it in like a political, like sociological way where his bed is on the ground. Very interesting character. He has 2 kids. Their names are Rad and Striker, which I find super
Do
cool,
they
like
also
Rad and
bathe
Striker.
outside?
I didn't ask the teenage boys about their bath habits because it seemed like a tough
Whatever.
spot, you know what I mean? No offense to the Warped Tour bands, but like it seemed like a tough spot. I didn't want to ask. I did shout out the kids and the Liver Queen. The Liver Queen was there.
Oh.
I apologize to the Liver Queen. I don't remember your real non-gimmick name, but I said hi to all of them. We hugged, we yelled. I told him I was walking outside barefoot and stuff like that, which I was a lie. I lied to the Liver King. I want to come out. I want to get out front in front of it right now and just say, Liver King, artist formerly known as Brian Johnson. I did lie to you when I say I've been walking around outside barefoot. I usually do wear shoes when I walk outside. I like Toms. I also like Vans. These are good companies. But very rarely am I barefoot outside. It seems like a dirty thing. So I lied to the Liver King and touching trees. I don't know if I was actually touching trees. I think I just wanted to get the Liver King hyped up, and he got really hyped up. And a couple years later, here we are ending up in documentary together. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying this is like, there's Ken Burns, there's the 30 for 30s. There's also, more importantly, the untold about the Liver King. And I'm just honored to be a part of it, Amanda. Thank you for bringing it up, or
You're
thank you for
welcome.
allowing me the
Yeah.
chance to bring it up. Yeah, thank you.
I think it's fabulous that you had gotten a chance to be in a documentary. You deserve your time to shine, Rob. And I think of
Thank
all
you. I
the
appreciate
places,
that.
the Liver King documentary seems like the most
It
appropriate
felt it felt
place
like a
for
good
you.
place for me. It felt like a good
It
place for me.
felt
Yeah.
like the right spot.
Felt like
Yeah.
home. I do not like, because he's been going under a bit of a negative run lately in terms of PR and the like. And I do notice that Netflix, like we mentioned before, like we're our show here, Emo Kids Anonymous, available on all podcast platforms. We've kind of been rocket strapping bands, to the
We
moon,
have
to
been.
Anthony Fantano. And like, I think Netflix was like, geez, this is a crisis. They brought a crisis counselor and it's like, there's so many issues going on around the Liver King. What do we do to right this ship? And they were like, you got to get the guy from the Emo Kids Anonymous podcast that lip syncs to the pop punk songs. You got to get him on there. You got to find a clip. And sure enough, they were lucky enough to find a clip of me there. kind of giving a bit of a rub to Liver King, a small rub, an adjacent rub. But I gave them enough clout there. And I guess they've been, the fine folks in Netflix, support your writers and the like.
Yes.
They just really saw the opportunity to run with it. And, I honestly can't blame them. I get it.
No, I get it too.
I get it too.
Smart marketing people. So Robb got a chance to be on a Netflix documentary, unbeknownst to him. Unfortunately, he's still seeking that payday, but one day it will happen.
Yeah. Netflix, there's an Arby's down the street. I don't know if it's closed, but if you just take me to the Arby's, they got the 2 for $5, the beef and cheddars. I'll take the 2 for $5 on the beef and cheddar, and we'll call it even. Honestly, fuck it kind of situation.
Yeah,
but I need
not?
at least two. I need at least 2 beef and cheddars.
I feel like your cameo is worth at least that much.
At least 2 for $5. I feel like that minute of is worth my intellectual property, my name, image, and likeness is worth at least 2 beef and cheddars. Honestly, I might be stretching it. I might be worth like 1, but the deal is on the 2, so I think it just makes sense for them to do the 2.
I would agree with that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Netflix will talk.
Let's talk. And then last but not least, I want to briefly bring up the fact that I got to see the Paradox for free this past Saturday because I think that needs to be mentioned.
The band, the Paradox.
The band, the Paradox. You might know them from their hit single "Do Me Like That," or the fact that they have a song written and produced with Travis Barker, who performed the drums for them at the Warped Tour in Long Beach.
He's in Blink. The band.
Yeah, unless we didn't know who Travis Barker was.
Yeah, he's also some plus 44 in the Transplants.
He is, exactly. And they freaking rocked for a band that had just played Warped Tour to come to this free little festival in middle of nowhere, Kentucky. But they have such good rapport. They go back and forth. Their banter is phenomenal. There's never a dull moment on stage.
Them boys be talking shit to each other?
Yeah, tons of shit to each other. I have some of it recorded. My favorite line,
Beautiful.
They introduced and played a lot of songs that are going to be up there in their upcoming EP that's coming out. So they're not on Spotify yet. And every time they'd introduce it, Eric would say, "This is a song I wrote about a girl I used to date. And either we fucking hate her or she's still cool. We broke up with her. Whatever the case may be." One was named Caitlin. Another is Nikki. But basically he's...
Shout out Caitlin. Shout out Nikki.
Yeah, shout out Caitlin and Nikki.
Shout out Caitlin.
And then he said, and he's like, "I know, I get around like the Beach Boys." And I said, "I can't believe you just made a Beach Boys reference. I don't know if anyone gets that, but that is a fan."
Didn't see that coming from you, yeah.
Neither did I. I was like,
solid pull, Zealand.
No, that was Eric, but I love it. I absolutely love it. So they were great live, playing their instruments, everything. I loved it 100%. I got to meet them backstage afterwards. They were so nice. I gave them some Never Phase Network stickers. Eric said he was going to put it on his guitar, so I am going to be looking for that the next time.
Yeah, we're holding out on you, brother. You better do it.
And if you ever want to come on Emo Kids Anonymous, please do. We would love to have you. They did a great cover of a NoFX song, Blink, and also
they do Linoleum?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and they did such a good job too. Yeah. Loved it. Also got a chance to meet Tom from Plain White Tees. I felt bad because it was while they were about to go on stage and he's just chilling back there. The guy next to me is like, "She wants to get a picture with you." And so we talked for a little bit, but he was just announced to go on stage, but he still took the time to say hello and get a picture with me. So I appreciate that, Tom Higginson. You're the best. I love you.
Nice move by Tom Higginson.
Yeah, so great. It was a wonderful time.
Yeah, I hope that Mitch Delilah told you what it was like in New York City,
I think so.
I hope things worked out there.
Yeah, now they have a tour coming up with We the Kings. The Delilah Juliet tour, or whatever they're calling it. So that should be fun for this fall.
White women names of yesteryear. Getting their own tour names, yeah.
Immortalized forever. But is there anything else we need to talk about before we jump into band replacements?
I think that's the main stuff. We covered everything. Did we talk about me being seen on Netflix? Yeah, we talked about that, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So we covered that. Yeah. We did the part where I tell people to buy the shirts. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, I think we've done everything. We can move on to the actual episode now, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're good.
So let's talk about band replacements. There is a paradox called the Ship of Theseus, and it is a philosophical thought experiment that if every part of a ship is replaced, is it still the same ship? So we are going to take that paradox and apply it to bands. So as we know in our scene, it is not uncommon for bands to go through the motions of replacing singers, replacing guitarists, drummers, etc. Even the most popular bands, My Chemical Romance, right? Bob Breyer left in 2010. as their drummer.
They've done like 4 drummers, yeah.
R.I.P. And
Every band's done 4 drummers at this point.
except
Except for Blink, yeah, they
Fall Out
got
Boy.
2. Yeah, Fall Out Boy has magically just had like 1.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean, they
even.
kind of 1.5. I mean, Patrick showed up. He said he played drums, right?
No, yeah, they had a guy who played drums on the first EP or the first record, Evening Out with Your Girlfriend. I think his name is Brian. But that did not last. So
Shout out Brian.
yeah,
Different guy than my brother, yeah.
I forgot your brother, but it's been Andy the entire time. They've never had another person play drums unless like Andy's out. But yeah, I mean, even people like Michael Romance have gone through lineup changes. It's not uncommon. And like I said earlier in the beginning of the episode, the reason this all came up is because there is a Rolling Stone article that come out called Drumageddon. And they were talking about the drummer apocalypse is what they were calling it. And it's just all like I think it was the Foo Fighters and 9 Inch Nails traded drummers, right? So
Yeah, they did like an official trade almost. Like I felt like Adam Schefter was breaking the news here. Yeah, there's some draft picks involved in the like.
exactly.
And yeah, Rubin went to the Foo Fighters.
Yep, that's right.
Plus a couple players to be named later in exchange for Josh Freese and cash considerations, I believe was the deal. Yeah,
exactly. And it just bears the question. You know, at first I was like, this is an interesting topic because we hear from a lot of our bands that we interview about the trouble of finding drummers if they don't have one. But then I thought on a bigger scale, just these are some big bands, 9 Inch Nails, Foo Fighters, but they're still considered the Foo Fighters and 9 Inch Nails, right? So what does it mean when a band replaces members? And so I thought we'd talk about that today.
It's an interesting thought because there's certain bands obviously where it feels very tied to one member, and there's certain bands where it feels tied to the entire band. For example, Alkaline Trio, one of my favorite bands. Alkaline Trio is very much Matt Skiba and Dan Andriano. That's Andriano CD Burners if you're watching this. Whereas Blink, like when they replaced Tom with Matt, it feels like, oh, that's not Blink. But at the same sense, like if you replace Travis with someone else, that's not Blink either. Whereas like Fall Out Boy's on tour now, they're on tour without Joe. Is this that much less Fall Out Boy to the average person? You know, with the exception of the, you know, extreme Fall Out Boy fan, is it that much noticeable? You're still getting Patrick Stump's voice. You're still getting the Pete Wentz lyrics.
Yeah.
You're still getting this and that. Like it feels like it varies from band to band. Is there a bit of a extra priority placed on the vocalist at times that seems fair and unfair? You know, where like if a band replaces a vocalist, like we mentioned it with our dear sweet darling Gibby, like the Linkin Parks, for example, they replaced Chester Bennington's with the Scientologist
Emily
and
Armstrong,
like yeah, and it feels like that's karaoke to people, you know what I mean? But it's like if they replace like, you know, Joseph Hahn or whatever the bass player's name is, does that matter to people really? Does that make a difference? You know, like what I understand vocally, part of me wants to place it on like as a normie thing where it's like, oh, you're a non-musician, you're not factoring in the drumming or this or that. But in the same sense, like vocals and lyrics and just like something coming directly out of your mouth has different layers of personability than your guitar tone or your guitar styling does. You know what I mean? So I get it at the same point, but it becomes this confusing thing. Like, for example, I know in our world, there's a couple bands where it's almost like they have one original member left, if that. And at what point are we doing intellectual property here?
Yeah. And I think the band that everyone, even in the mainstream, would immediately come to mind is Panic at the Disco. If the mainstream even knows the fact that there have been lineup changes. But Panic at the Disco started off right with Ryan Ross, Spencer Smith, Brendan Urie, and then eventually Ryan Ross left. And then they brought in Dallin Weeks, and then Dallin Weeks left. And then eventually Spencer stepped down because of his issues with alcoholism, and then he was taking on more of a background role with DCD2, and now it's just Brendan Urie, and now it's defunct, I guess. I don't know. We'll see what happens when we're young.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see in October what they do. Yeah,
but basically,
everyone's like, Ryan Ross is coming back. Dream on, Steven Tyler.
Yeah, I will be shocked. But I mean, essentially, you know, right before the end, it was pretty much Brendan Urie and gang, whatever the touring, you know, the touring guitarists and drummers, etc., were on with him. But people still considered it Panic at the Disco, or at least the normal people did. And is that because Brendan Urie is such a like
it's the voice.
It's the voice, and also his popularity as a persona, right? He was doing something with Taylor Swift. He had the Me song with Taylor Swift in 2018, and
the worst Taylor Swift song.
Yeah, and then the other thing you say about Paramore too. I mean, at the end of the day, some of the original members have come back since then. They've kind of switched on and off.
There's only been if I'm mistaken, there's only been one constant on every Paramore record, right?
And that's Haley.
Which is ironic considering the whole deal from the beginning was this isn't a solo project, it's a band, it's this and that, but it's I don't want the Paramore people smoke.
Yeah, but no, it's an interesting theory. But when you see Paramore you see Paramore go on tour, it's Paramore, right? Even though she's had solo albums, she's done solo things, right? But at this point, she is the only constant in that Paramore band, and that's why it's always interesting when I see people like, "Oh, it's Paramore." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not the original Paramore." And I think it all comes down to, when I was researching this, like the factors, right? So we talked about identity and legacy, that maybe the identity is tied to like original members. Like for the case of a band like Fall Out Boy, you said like Joe's not there. Normal people may not notice that because let's face it, Pete Wentz is a bigger than life figure in the emo scene, in the mainstream culture. So as long as he's there, and I would say also Patrick because of his voice. If you were to get rid of that voice and put someone else in there, and I'm sorry, not even Brendan Urie could do it, you wouldn't sound the same, right?
It's the most beautiful singer in our world.
God, you don't gotta tell me twice.
Yeah.
And then of course
he is well hung. Let me just say Pete wrote that lyric because if that was Patrick writing it, he would have like literally wrote I'm well hung and he's hanging up. Yeah, It would have been reversed. Calm Before the Storm wouldn't have the same appeal.
It would not. Yeah. Shout out to Pete
Patrick Stump.
That's right.
Shout out to Patrick Stump.
Yes. Oh man, Pete Rick is alive in 2025. And then so you have the identity and legacy, and you have continuity of the music, right? So if you change up band members, as long as the sound is still similar, right? Does that still elicit that it's the same band, right? I mean, do we have examples of that where maybe someone changed up, like Take You Back Sunday, while you had those switch outs?
Like the thing is like in the least snobbish way, like does a normal person notice like the difference in like the guitar playing and the guitar style of like a John Nolan versus a Fred? You know what I mean? Because like when I listen to California 9, for example, Blink, Matt's one of my favorite everything ever. I love Alkaline Trio, but like to me, it's like it's not just the Tom vocals missing, but it's like Tom's guitar style is not just What's My Age Again arpeggios, which I felt like Matt Skiba when he joined the band. It's like, well, that's what Blink does. You do like the Adams song, you do the What's My Age Again, you do the arpeggio thing. It doesn't have this like weird little like chaotic energy to Tom's guitar playing that Tom has. It has something else. And so when I listen to it, like that's what I hear that Blink record is missing. Yeah, it's missing Tom's vocals and Tom's lyrics, but like it's missing that. It feels like Mark wrote the guitar parts, you know what I mean? But it's like, is that me being a nerd? Is that me being weird? If someone else listens to this, do they hear that? I don't.
No, and from our standpoint, coming as, we're not just the everyday people who just pick up one of the songs off the album and listen to it because it's popular and be like, oh, that's great. It is hard to quantify with the sound because I want to bring up Robb's favorite band, Genesis.
Why are you doing this shit, Amanda?
When Peter Gabriel...
I fucking hate Genesis so much. I don't think I've said it on this show before. Least favorite band. Let me just say real quick, if you haven't seen the Gibby episode, you can shut it off when it gets to about number 2, because Amanda's going to say some shit that's so out of pocket.
We're just going to ignore it.
Your opinion on Genesis does not exist. It's not canon in the EKACU, the Emo Kids Anonymous Cinematic Universe, okay? I hate Genesis when I was a kid. This is one of the only albums my dad had, and it fucking sucked. And Amanda apparently has some soft spot for it. The guy, if you don't know Phil Collins, he's this guy. He played the drums. He did this one drum. Phil got way famous off it. Basically, that's the story. I'm sticking to it. He also sings on the Tarzan soundtrack. Tarzan, one of the worst movies ever made.
No.
Brother Bear? What the fuck is Brother Bear?
He has some great songs. Tarzan lived and dies by those songs.
When did Brother Bear come out? You were like 15 years old when this movie came out, okay, Amanda? There's no need for you to have an attachment to Brother Bear.
My little brothers, who are much younger than me because my mom remarried when I was like 13 and then decided to have more kids.
All right.
For some God knows unknown reason. Shout out to all those women having kids, later in life after they already had a bunch of teenagers.
Shout out to the menopausal mamas popping them out.
I had to watch Brother Bear because my little brother Matthew was very much into Brother Bear at the time.
Brother Bear is different than Little Bear. You know, Little Bear was a different show, right? Is that
Yes.
Little Bear's a show?
Yes, Little Bear is a Nickelodeon show on Nick Jr.
I thought Little Bear was British. I got real British vibes from Little Bear.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was
Wasn't
an import
stoked on
that
him,
Nickelodeon brought over. I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was weary of British entertainment as a child. I don't know why.
Maybe
my
all should
dad
be a little
listened to a
bit.
lot of
Yeah.
honestly, which is fair. That might have been the one good part of the Rush Limbaugh indoctrination I got from my dad was like, be wary of the British. Like, yeah. Sorry, Winifred. Yeah, whoever else is British watching this, I don't know.
Clearly not a Monty Python fan.
Yeah, I've never even seen it, never once. No, I don't know anything about flesh wound stuff or any. Yeah, once I shut it off. I'm a super big fan of America.
Like Reno 911?
Freedom. 911, yeah.
I
played a show with one of the guys from Reno 911. He also voiced the Rocco and Rocco's Modern Life.
That's awesome.
And he also voiced the Taco Bell dog, Yo Quiero Taco Bell. He voiced that, and he's a character in Reno 911. As much as I hype it up, I've actually only seen a few episodes of that. I was more of a Trailer Park Boy guy, if we're going to go with mockumentaries.
Okay.
But, yeah, shout out Reno 911. Yeah, I played a show with that guy one time. It was like a SNL type show they do in Hollywood here called TMI.
Very
and he was like the host. We were the musical guests. And I was just like, yo, I want to talk to this dude about Rocco. Like, how do I get weird to him about Rocco, you know? Didn't get a chance, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's at one of those like pop East conventions. You can go talk to him then.
Yeah, I'll bump into you in Anchorage, Alaska, or fucking Davenport, Iowa,
wherever
brother.
he's at.
Once we make it to we'll make it to the fucking nostalgia circuit eventually, man.
I can't wait to have our own panel about emo music and everyone just comes and listens to us.
You got to pay $20 for the 8x10. You want the 8x10? It's $20. You want our signatures on it?
I'm going to do this.
50, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this one.
But anyway, all that to say, the only thing I was going to bring up is the fact that when Peter Gabriel was the lead singer, they were very progressive rock. But then when Phil Collins
and then they get Phil Collins
duties,
they dumbed it down and got stupid.
It was very pop rock. But then it led to a lot of successes for them, for Genesis, and of course helped Phil Collins pave the way for his very successful solo career later on. Who doesn't love Stu Studio?
Some fucking bills. Yeah, you fucking pig, yeah.
Anyway,
he's an old man. I'm sorry.
But
he's really old.
I mean, there are times. But does that change? But did that change the fans' opinion of like whether it's Genesis or not? I would argue no. I mean, even though the sound changed, everyone still thought, it's still Genesis.
Pierce the Veil, honestly, are more successful now
without Mike
in this new world without Mike. And it's wild to me to think of. Like the band, essentially at the very beginning, at its roots, the band is Vic and Mike. Like that was the start of the band. Was these brothers starting this band? It's like Mike is nowhere to be found. They're playing these fucking arenas. Mike doesn't in this world doesn't matter. But on the flip side, like if Vic left, that's not. There's no way they continue using that name.
No, Well, it would not even be Pierce the Veil anymore. At that point, I would argue, and that's interesting to me because I've seen stories talking about like very old rock bands like Journey, right, and Black Sabbath is a good example, Fleetwood Mac, things like that. And people have gone to see them like recently in shows. At this point, they're playing under the name, but you're not seeing the original lineup by any means, right? And a lot of people are like, well, it's not the same. It doesn't feel the same because it's not the original. Like the Eagles, I'm sure, is a good example. Queen, right? They've toured with Adam Lambert in place of Freddie Mercury. Obviously, there's nothing they could do with Freddie Mercury's passing. They want to keep going. They want to make money.
Tough spot.
It's a tough spot. They picked a fantastic replacement in Adam Lambert.
What do you want from me?
Yeah, that's a great song.
That was supposed to be a Pink song. Did you know that was supposed to be a Pink song?
You could tell it was supposed to be a Pink song.
You can tell. As soon as you hear that was supposed to be a Pink song, you can just hear it in Pink voice,
I could hear her voice. Yeah, I hear her voice.
Yeah,
I see her spinning in the air on the silks,
such
singing
a Pink song, right? Yeah, it's such a fucking Pink song. Yeah,
it would have been a great Pink song. But it also was a good Adam Lambert song, too. But I mean, people
honestly, maybe the only good Adam Lambert song.
I honestly, I think that might be the only one I know.
Honestly, yeah.
The
other ones I know are fucking Fred Mercury, brother. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, besides
Franklin Mars wrote those
Daughtry
songs,
and Kelly Clarkson are the only people. Oh, and Carrie Underwood, the only like American Idol.
You know the Daughtry Bops?
Buddy, I was a big Daughtry
That's
fan.
the most middle. Yeah, you love that Daughtry shit.
Yeah,
That's
I went to see him live at a festival in Arkansas when I lived there.
You went out of your way to see.
It was a Memorial Day weekend festival all weekend. Yes, I also went out my way to see Ludacris there and The Fray.
Okay, but
and Nelly.
Luda and
was
Nelly, I
fantastic.
understand. Okay, we can be yeah. Luda and Nelly, I get.
And The Fray.
Daughtry,
But
though.
they still the original singer.
But Daughtry, wow, this is wild. This is a lot to take in. Interesting.
Yeah.
How far did you drive to see Daughtry?
Well, I lived in Arkansas at the time, so literally across the river, like 20 minutes away.
Okay. I was gonna say you drove hours to see.
No,
Daughtry.
I would not have done that. But it was the festival. They always live in Little Rock, and I lived in North Little Rock, so I just had to hop over the bridge. Actually, I parked on the other side of the bridge. I walked over the bridge, and then I saw them in concert. Wouldn't you do the same if you knew it was like going to be right there? I mean, to check it out.
To see Daughtry?
To see anyone.
I go 20 minutes the other fucking way.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
it was a fun
Interesting.
time
Okay.
had by all. Anyway.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Did they have like a beer tent, like Heineken Beer Gardens thing? Yeah,
of course. It was a massive.
You get me at the beer gardens. Yeah, you get me there.
Yeah, it was a whole festival for Memorial Day weekend. So, they ended all with the fireworks and stuff. It's a whole big thing downtown. And yeah.
Shout out Daughtry. Why not? Fuck it. Shout out Chris Daughtry. I prefer Ruben Studdard and and Fantasia and
Do you?
I don't know. No, you know who I do like for American Idol?
Jennifer Hudson?
Clay Aiken. Invincible. Yo, shout out to
Also
Clay
saw
Aiken.
him in concert.
Yeah.
At another music festival.
One of the last of the white men that could write a song that's truly just disgustingly predatory. Where just if I was invisible, I would literally watch you in your room and you're just kind of hell yeah, that's cute as fuck, bro. I think you're talking to a guy, but hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
But whereas if someone else if that was Jesse Lacey or some other band singing that, you'd be like, brother, that was super weird of you to say. Clay got away
Sting?
with it.
Like in the Police?
Yeah,
when they're
Sting.
singing it?
Sting got away with it too.
Yeah, but that's because it was
Can't
the 80s.
you see you belong with me?
Everyone
I don't
got
know
away
what he
with a lot in the
says.
80s.
No idea what he says. The 80s were a wild time. Well, until crack and AIDS, there was a lot of new stuff at the time. Yeah, they had their own technologies to worry about, but they were more harmful.
Yeah, trickle-down economics was really helping everyone back then.
Yeah. Shout out. On the heels of the Chris Daughtry shout out Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher for creating a perpetual lower middle class. Yeah, good for you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ronald Reagan. That Jodie Foster guy, I wish he had better aim. Anyways, keep going. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, yeah, but people still go see Queen as Queen, even though they know they're not going to get the original Freddie Mercury. It reminds me of I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg.
What is that? I remember when that came out. I never saw it, but it came out. I remember they got the guy. He was in the karaoke band, right?
Yes, he was
in
the
cover band.
The cover band.
He's in a cover. Sorry. Whoa, Amanda. Big difference. In case you didn't know, don't be disrespectful. Don't be derogatory. Stop with your slurs. Big difference between cover band and tribute act. Okay, this
true.
was a tribute act. This guy was in tribute act. Okay, yeah.
I just realized that all sounds very similar because people gave Mark Wahlberg that band that he was in crap, and he would yell that about we're not a cover band, we're a tribute band.
Really?
Yes, he did.
Oh, word.
And now I've never.
That motherfucker's doing the bit from the Rockstar movie.
If you are watching our show right now or are curious about what this inside joke is, watch our episode on the Vans Warped Tour. And then you will understand why we are having this discussion. Anyways, in the movie, the lead singer of, I can't remember the name of the band, but he decides to, Steel Dragon, the band, the name is Steel Dragon. He leaves because there are some creative differences.
Steel Dragon? That's their name?
No, Steel.
I was going to say, that was the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
Because...
just two made-up animals thrown in the water. Two made-up animals.
Because they had some creative differences, and also he accused them of being homophobic because he was also gay. And so he leaves the band.
They probably were homophobic.
They probably were. I mean, they were like a hair metal. Yeah, hair metal band.
Yeah, those
90s.
guys were super homophobic.
Well, late 80s going into the 90s, because it's interesting. Because in the movie, you could see the change, Mark Wahlberg's characters.
From hair metal to grunge?
Yes, exactly. Because at the end of the episode movie, he's playing a guitar on stage at a coffee shop, looking very like Kurt Cobain, singing a song that's very yes. So 100%. I'm like, oh, the transition between becoming a hair metal band
It
to
was
being
a
a
tough
songwriter
time,
is,
yeah. I
yeah,
couldn't imagine being a 50-year-old man having to, like, experience that in real time, being like, "Fuck, like,
it would have been
what do I
hard.
do with my leather pants? Like, I bought so many pairs. Where do they, like
What about all these
the
nipple
Goodwill won't
piercings?
take them."
Yes.
Yeah, what do I do with the barbells that used to go through my nipples? Do I just throw them out? Like, it feels, like,
It makes no
impersonal, I don't
sense.
know.
But in it, the fans, it didn't matter. Like, so basically, someone had seen him. I guess some of the groupies who also hung around Steel Dragon had recorded him at his tribute concert that he always does. And he got a call, goes in there, auditions, and they hire him, right? And of course, it's about the life of a rock star, but no one saw the difference, right? And at the end of the day, he realizes that he has to leave and he leaves. And it's like he picks someone else off the crowd who looks just like him. And he's like, it's your turn. You go and do this. And at the end of the day, the band's still Steel Dragon because as long as the fans saw it that way, right? As long as they're still playing the same songs, there's still like some semblance of the same band. The fans were okay. It didn't matter who was the lead singer. They all looked alike. They all had the same hair, the same
Honestly, yeah.
leathered like vest with no shirt on. It didn't
Long
matter.
hair whites do look alike, yeah.
They they all do. They all do. But yeah, it's really interesting, like, determining what changes. In my mind, because of just the way we view these bands through, like, a nostalgic lens, through, you see it in a certain way, and sometimes some people are okay with looking past the changes, right? It doesn't matter if Mike left Pierce the Veil. Maybe to some people it does, but to a vast majority, it's like, it's still Pierce the Veil, right? Bob Breyer's no longer, it's still My Chemical Romance, right? Whether or not you have John or Fred in Taking Back Sunday, Adam Lazzara is still there.
You still hear that voice. You still hear him yapping.
Yeah, and he's still gonna swing that microphone around.
Yo, he
Still
he
am.
swings the fuck out of that microphone though, for real.
Yeah. But then what about bands like, we've seen bands like Escape the Fate go through that change between like Ronnie Radke,
You
right?
talking about
Craig
switching from
Mabbitt.
our friend of the show,
Friend of the
Ronald
show.
Rathke?
Yeah.
Old friend of mine, Ronald the McDonald Rathke, as we used to call him, yeah. Ronnie Bonnie. My favorite vocalist in Escape the Fate, and I say that because I only really know the one Escape the Fate song, the one where he sings about being in his room and playing Russian roulette, which honestly, let me just say, us at Emo Kids Anonymous, call us woke. We don't think you should play Russian roulette ever. That doesn't sound like a safe game. Nothing against the Russians or the
Or
card
roulette.
game industry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or nothing against the Vegas people or the Moscowians or anything like that, but like Russian roulette, not a good idea. Ronald, I don't know. But yeah, like these certain bands like that, they change their vocalists multiple times and it hasn't been a big deal. Dance Gavin Dances.
Same thing.
The
Yeah.
Dancing Gavins, yeah, they've had like fucking 4 vocalists. And let me just say, each one of their vocalists is maybe a worse person than the last there for a minute. It's honestly fucking impressive. Like,
It's like,
they're
how
like,
do you find these people?
this guy's selling laptops. This guy's doing graping stuff. Like, all bad. Where did you find these guys at like a fucking Narcissist Anonymous meeting? Like,
Most likely.
I don't know. It's honestly amazing. Yeah, but like the vocalist change doesn't seem to matter, you know?
Yeah. In some bands.
Is it a genre thing? Like certain genres where they just don't, where like maybe they prioritize instrumentation a little more? Like, I don't
that's
know.
interesting because when I think about like Escape the Fate, or Dance Gavin Dance and stuff, obviously a little bit more like hardcore, a little bit,
A little heavier, yeah.
a little
Like, and
heavier.
the heavier the band gets, does it matter less? Because like at some point the like Dance Gavin Dance and even like other, I think of Johnny Craig is just like an
Yeah.
Amorosa, like a lot of it is
Exactly.
kind of, the sound is kind of in the guitar playing a lot
Yeah.
of it as a,
It's
and the
it's not
vocal
really about the
styling can be
vocalist.
copied,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, the vocals feel secondary.
Yeah, the vocalist feels secondary. If you can get kind of the same sound as far as the vocals go, then you're good to go. And people will still listen to it because even in like like bands outside of our scene who maybe might be adjacent to that sound, they've gone through a number of changes, right? I mean, I know you mentioned like Stone Temple Pilots before and, and we talked about like Nine Inch Nails and stuff. It doesn't matter really. It's still the same band. But like, yeah, if you were to replace like Paramore, if you replace Haley, it's not
It
Paramore
wouldn't
anymore.
work, yeah.
Yeah, doesn't
And with a lot of
exist.
bands too, like when it comes to instrumental stuff, for example, like the Green Day band, very
Also,
popular band
yes,
with our boss Ryan. Yeah, Green Day is a three-piece based out of
always
the
good.
East Bay in California, but Green Day is really a five-piece band. They got that Jason dude on the other guitar. They got a
Yeah.
keyboard player, Joyce Manor, soon to be forced friends of the pod. Three-piece band, but the drummer's interchangeable, and then like there's
Mm-hmm.
also a keyboard player. Like all these My Chemical Romance now, they go on tour. Who is the new drummer? Who is the keyboard player? You think of Mikey, you think of Gerard, you think of
Exactly.
Frank, you think of Ray, but there's two other guys in this band to some degree. Does that not, musically, how much does that influence things? How much does that matter to things? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all these, so many of these bands we love, they go out on tour, they all have an extra guitarist now.
Yeah, they all do.
So how much does the guitar player's influence in styling? I guess there's only so much you can really do on a guitar at this point. It's a centuries-old instrument. We've
It's
had
true.
electric guitar and rock music-based guitar for over 50 years. Like, there's only so much new you can do on it. There's
Yep.
only so much new you can do vocally, you know what I mean? Like, all these, but in the same sense, there's so much more tone and timbre with a vocalist, maybe, to where, like, okay, we mentioned Hot Mulligan, Tate's from Hot Mulligan, his vocals compared to an Adam from Taking Back Sunday,
Yeah.
compared to whoever else. Like, there's a difference in even the way that they can scream or sing or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
to where it creates such a, if the differences musically are like a 10 color palette, where you're
Yeah.
running off like a Roy Biv thing, where
Yep.
it's just
Roy
like
G. Biv.
rainbow colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as opposed to like a full like hex code of like, oh, we have all these other tones and the like we can use. I think that's the way we compare like instrumentals versus vocals.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, another one I didn't even think about, but like Hawthorne Heights, they have gone through their share of lineup changes. Obviously, with the untimely death of Casey, that was our screamer, right? Our unclean vocals. And now they have Mark doing that, and Mark does a great job. Seen him doing it live many a time. But they've had other lineup changes, but that stuff, as long as it's there, I mean, you can't change JT Woodruff's vocals, though. You change that, it's
Mm.
not Hawthorne Heights anymore, right?
You
I mean,
could, and
I
you could
would
honestly,
believe so. I don't know. In
you
my
could take
mind, it
him
wouldn't
off
be.
the guitar.
You
You could take
could.
him off the guitar, and I wouldn't,
You wouldn't
like
notice it. Yeah.
there's distinct guitar stylings and the like, where it's like this, it sounds like this, even like
Yes.
even in my musical life, like we had multiple records where it's like I played on every record, and then like the last time we did a song, it was like, well, why don't you guys just play the guitars here? You're better at it than I am. You
Yeah.
guys do it, this or that. And it's like, can you really, if it's the same guy like I made up the song, I wrote the song, I can't even really notice the difference. You know what I mean? I notice it because I know it's better with those guys, but it's like, as much as maybe the musical purists or music nerds don't want to admit it, vocals and lyrics and melodies and the like are really what drive people's connections to music,
Yeah. And I could see that if the guitarist was someone who was also helping with lyrics or helping with some of the musical direction, then I can see that them leaving would impact the
I mean,
way a band is
even
viewed.
interesting on that aspect. Okay, the Newfound Glories.
Yeah.
They had their guitarist there. Was that Steve Klein was his name?
Mm-hmm.
And he was asked to leave. I can't remember why. You'd have to Google. But he wrote the lyrics on a lot of those Newfound
Yes.
Glory songs we love. And it's like, if you were to listen to a modern Newfound Glory song versus an old Newfound Glory song, sure, there's a slight difference in
Yeah.
age or this or that. But like musically, lyrically, stylistically, like, is there really that much of a difference?
No.
It blends it, like, it's
You could
fine,
listen.
right?
Yeah. Like musically, it all sounds like it's Newfound Glory. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. Besides your answer on the Gibby show, which I know you don't actually mean, you were just doing that really to be, you were just
How
doing
do
that to be
you
mean to me.
know?
You were just doing that to really be mean to me,
I
to
was just
hurt my
doing it to
feelings.
get Gibby some good ratings. Maybe that's not
Yeah, Gibby, yeah, enjoy that rocket strap we gave you, brother. But who is your favorite vocal replacement or vocal adjacent replacement in a band ever? Give me an example. Give me an example where the band maybe ended up better, actually.
Well, I mean, I gave mine in the show, but honestly, if it's like, seeing a true change, honestly, I would have to say it probably would have been Jimmy Adkins going from, like, that would be like my,
Yeah.
like, because Tom Blinton's fine, but in that, like, their first record, but once you get to Clarity, Jim is what Jimmy Eat World for,
Yeah,
right?
no, from Static Prevails to
Yes.
Clarity to Bleed American, there's a clear, like, it kind of evolves to where, like, okay, this is what the band is supposed to
And
be.
that's what it sounds like. And you can never get, like, I don't know if you could replace Jim Adkins as the vocalist and get away with still calling it Jimmy Eat World, right? I don't think you could do that. He is so, and the same regards to Adam Lazzara. I don't care what anyone says about his live performance, but his vocals are what I fell in love with first when I was listening to Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a, and let me just say also in defense of Adam,
which is a weird thing for us to do.
Before your guy Patrick Stump came along, there was no expectations vocally for people in our general world, okay? You were allowed to suck. And then Patrick came along and we're like, oh, we can be like actually like really good at singing. Kind of made it super shitty for everyone else. So Adam comes from the before time where like
it's true.
It really wasn't about being good. It was about just, being emotional and being passionate, maybe, you know what I mean? Like I don't need to hear you hit the notes. I just want to see you dangle off the scaffolding.
Or go upside down, and I don't know what he was doing when we were young, but it was something. Yeah, no, I mean, it was all about the performance. Yeah, it was about the live performance. It wasn't necessarily about how clean the vocals were. Yes, then Patrick Stump came along and ruined that for everyone.
Really ruined it for everyone. There's some guys before that were great, but like you think about it, Mark, Tom, Billy, these guys, like, weren't really the best, on the most technical sense, not the greatest singers,
No, they're not belting.
They can hit their notes or whatever. They can do the melodies.
They're not doing vocal runs that are going like, that can rival Beyonce. They're not doing
there was zero of that before Pat Stump came along. Zero of that.
Yeah, exactly.
There was nothing.
Did not exist.
Did not have to be good. So it's tough, but I mean, same thing, like, that's a tonal thing. Like, Blink is a big one. Tom left and Matt replaced him. Like, someone recently was even like, like, I don't know, it should have been this or that. It's like, name one person it could have been besides Matt Skiba. There's no one else that could have filled that role.
Yeah.
Matt was the guy for that role, and Matt still doesn't fill that role
because at the end of the day, it's still
properly.
Tom.
Because it's Tom. There's a very clear, distinct style. And then when Tom comes back to Blink, I hear newer Blink with Tom back, and it's like, okay, the X factor in this band was always you to me. I mean, you hear that, you're like, okay, this is the appeal of this band was your vocals. But in the same sense, like if Mark left, would it give me that same feeling where it'd be like, you know what I mean? Like, would I right away be like, oh shit, like that's not the same Tom with someone else? It probably would make me feel the same way where it's like, this doesn't work.
It doesn't work because the onstage banter's not there. I mean, they might try to make it work, but at the end of the day, it really wouldn't be the same. Yeah, because I think about like Tom's voice is the one everyone makes fun of. Not that they make fun of it or they try to impersonate where are you?
Yeah, they imitate it.
Yeah, they impersonate. Yeah. It's not Mark's voice.
No.
It's
Tom is the signature voice. Mark has just as many signature songs and like, but like you think of like All the Small Things and Yed and Where Are You? Like Tom is the one that's literally changed the way we say words in the English language. As stupid as that sounds.
Exactly.
Like we say, like, I will not say head. Head, the H is soft as fuck now to me. It's Yed. You know what I mean? Like it's a shortened version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it is. And that's because of Tom DeLonge.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. And in regards to like the live performances, I think too, like I think with Pierce the Veil, if you are a fan and if if you've seen the live shows and go to live shows, Vic always does a lot with like Jaime, right? There's a lot of like, you could see a lot of interaction, even in the interviews and stuff. Even though they're not brothers, there is a playful banter there. There's a reason why they're...
Tony feels like the strong, silent, serious one.
Exactly.
And like, Jaime is like the silly second. Like, and you can see him almost fill that void. Like I saw them. There was like a 15-year gap in time of which I've seen Pierce the Veil. Like I'm seeing them in the late 2000s, and then like seeing them recently on their last tour. It's like very clearly Jaime is like the number 2 guy. He's the Steve Van Zandt. He's the comic relief almost. He's this or that. He's running the show, and where Vic is maybe busy worrying about XYZ. Jaime's hopping up on the ego and doing the spot. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Oh, he's so good at it. Yeah. So at that point, it's still Pierce the Veil, even if they are sans their original drummer. I mean, technically, Jaime and Tony were not the original bassist and guitarists either. But I mean, no one really remembers that because by that time, A Flair for the Dramatic wasn't as popular as Selfish Machine and stuff would become. So, no. So it wouldn't be
and they were there so quickly after that first record comes out too that it's just they're so attached to being like the original members,
Yeah.
But I mean, talk about replacing vocalists in general. Like, it's a thing also I think that we'll see more as time goes on in our world. You know what I mean? Like, okay, AC/DC goes and tours. We have, as heavy as it is, people in our world are going to die. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be vocalists replaced in the next 10, 20, 30 years where it's like, maybe we see that, X band, I don't want to be wishing death upon anyone, but someone comes in. Yeah, I'm not trying to be the guy that jinxes anything. That it's like, oh my, but like they go do that tour later on where it's like, oh, this guy from this band fills in, and at what point is it just these songs exist? This is you're happy to hear the song, and maybe some of the people attached to it are there,
And I think that's really what it comes down to. As long as the legacy exists and it's there, you get to a certain point where it won't matter, really, if a band member is replaced, even if it's the lead singer. In most cases, I still think there might be. No, if you give enough time, if there's enough time, I think that it would happen. Like, if it was a current thing, like I could see people maybe taking issues with current bands. Let's say, God forbid, like Derek from State Champs is replaced for some god awful reason, like right now, in the height of all their stuff, right? Or like Jeremy McKinnon from A Day to Remember all of a sudden is replaced, right? I feel like that would impact it more than you give it like 10, 15 years down the line. And there's already a legacy built up. Like we think about these bands that you're talking about, like AC/DC, Black Sabbath, etc. There's still
You're almost just
some.
happy to hear the songs.
Yeah, you want to hear them
Whereas with
live.
Blink, even by the point Blink brought in brought in Matt, where it's like almost just like that was 2014 or 2015.
Yeah.
At that point, Blink has been around for 20 years. Like you're just happy you're going to get to hear the songs live. You know what I mean? Like at some point that kicks in. Whereas like if A Day to Remember, I mean, same thing. They've been around for a while, but like it still feels like they're maybe at the tail end or like at the cusp of like their top spot in that world where it's like
They didn't really
you
have that
replace him.
moment.
How much does it work? I mean, like shit. If something happened to Tyson Ritter and just like Nick Wheeler and the boys want to do an All American Rejects tour, there's no tour without Tyson, right? Like that's the band,
No, they literally have to like staple something on that says "Don't swear" when you're on stage.
right? Like what are you
Yeah.
gonna do? You're gonna have Adam from TBS fill in that
Could
Tyson
you
role? Like
even imagine?
it's the only guy I could think of maybe filling that role, and that just feels like such
So
like a
weird. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It really comes down to the legacy. And if there is a legacy there, it doesn't matter at the end of the day who is in what spot. And I think that's why. And then also, it depends on what role is being replaced. Like in the terms of a lot of our bands, like we were talking about, like Dance Gavin Dance, Escape the Fake stuff, they still maintained a fan base and still grew a fan base, even when they switched, like when, Craig replaces Ronnie Radke, right? Because it was still early enough in their career where they could still make
Yes.
that change and still succeed and get better and still be successful. So I think it's just all about timing of when it takes place and what type of member it is that they're replacing.
A lot of it sounds like we're using a lot of words to say
It doesn't matter.
it depends how deep you are into the normies.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like a Linkin Park, like I'm sure that the deep Linkin Park heads are open to this or that, but how much of it is just the normies who like are casual Linkin Park fans? And maybe they say they love Linkin Park, but they're casual music fans. Their level of love for it goes not as deep as, some people that are hardcore into it, where then
Yeah.
it becomes like, this is a karaoke thing because maybe you're not as appreciative as the thing the other guys are doing. That feels, ties into me as being like very normie based,
No, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would say that's exactly right because they just see Mike Shinoda out there, right? He's
Yeah.
still there, and they're still going to hear in the end. So, and the song "What I've
But there's
Done"
someone
from-
else there.
Yeah,
There's someone else doing the thing, and I don't know what to fucking think right now because there's a girl doing the part that the guy's supposed to do, and it makes my head hurt.
They made it even more, controversial because they made it a woman instead of.
Yeah,
instead of
good call. Good call.
Yeah. I
Good
do.
call.
I
We
always
gotta up the
imagine
male
if it was
loneliness
ever,
epidemic. Yeah.
if it really was going to be like Derek from Sum 41, like we talked about that on the Gibby show about how he was
Imagine.
making an announcement about like a book he was writing, and at the same time as they were making their announcement, so people were trying to put two and two together.
Thought for a second there was a real chance it could happen.
Me too, and I was like, okay, I could actually be okay with Derek like taking over for Chester. That
Yeah.
would be kind of
Thought
cool.
about
Two legend, thought about it. Would they have been okay with that if that was the case? I always wonder.
No.
No,
Would have been maybe more okay with it if it was a woman,
Yeah.
but either way, they wouldn't have been okay with it.
no, someone would have complained. Yeah, that
The
whiny.
bigger your band gets, the more terrible the fan base is going to get at times.
Yes, that's true. Especially the hardcore fan base.
Yeah, sorry to the Linkin Parkers and the like. Yeah,
It's okay. I'm part of the hardcore Fall Out Boy fan base, so I can speak to the experience.
you understand.
I
Yeah, you
understand.
understand. Yeah,
I do very much so. It's not even us old people. Anyway,
I don't feel good about the Genesis thing still, but we can move on.
we'll get over that eventually.
Yeah, give me a couple more weeks. I'll get past it. Yeah, I'll literally forget about it and we'll be good. I have brain like goldfish cracker,
I
extra
hope
salt
that no one brings
blasted.
up
Yeah.
Tarzan then at some point in any
No, my
conversation.
God, I would just start wigging out. Yeah, I start thinking about that fucking movie. Honestly, Tarzan, he should have been put down by the poachers. Is that something that happens in the movie where there's poachers approaching him?
Yeah, the guys who work with
Okay,
Jane, yeah.
it
Jane.
should be. Yeah, he should have been put in a fucking zoo.
He is a man, Rob. He can't be
He's a
put in
fucking
zoo.
animal. He's a fucking animal, okay? Swinging around vine to vine, private parts out, listening to Phil Collins. Nothing good coming out of that fucking mammal, okay?
Definitely not, I guess.
Loincloth loving fuck, yeah.
I think they have a baby in the second one. There is a second one.
Do they? They do hooking up stuff?
Yeah, she stays on the island with him and her dad.
But he's primitive, and she's a reformed, nice, elegant
She teaches
woman.
him English, and she changes his ways. She like, what is it? My Fair Lady.
That doesn't feel kind of like, it feels kind of like statutorial to you, no?
I
Not
mean,
to
he's
you?
an adult man. I mean,
But is his brain adult man or is his brain like 10-year-old kid? Because like at some point,
this isn't the Robin Williams movie where he goes from Jack, where he's like,
Jack, yeah. Jack is a sick film, by the way. There's a part in there where the kid's like, yo, Jack, you ever get one, like an erector? He's talking about his wiener, and then Robin Williams hit him with the like, not yet, but I'm hoping to for Christmas. And just like, imagine filming this grown man Robin Williams with the hair on his knuckles, and he's just like, okay, you're here with the 8-year-old kid. Hey, disgusting. Rest in peace, Robin Williams, one of the funniest men that ever. Filming this scene with these like 8-9-year-old boys, and it's just like, all right, so we're doing boner talk right here, okay? You're gonna sleep over with 9-year-olds and we're doing boner talk. Robin, are you ready? All right. Everyone in place? Action. And just like, you gotta dive into it. Like, that's a tough spot for Robin. I get it. Yeah. Jennifer Lopez in that movie, right? He falls in love with Jennifer Lopez, the teacher, and he's like doing the math, and the girl's talking about getting married at 28, and he's like, fuck, when I'm 28, I hope to be alive. Like,
yeah, it's devastating.
Fuck, honestly, a really heavy movie to think about.
It is.
He also did a movie Flubber that I haven't seen, but that looks a lot happier than Jack. Because like now I'm thinking about Jack, and I'm just like,
but Flubber is a interesting memory for me because the last movie I saw with my paternal grandfather before he passed away of cancer.
Rest in peace, Amanda's
like
grandpa
11.
on her dad's side. Yeah.
So yeah.
He took you to Flubber?
No, we saw it at his house, and I just remember him laughing his ass off.
He fucking loved. He was a Flubberhead.
Yeah, he loved that movie so much.
Shit.
In his little old house in Wind Gap, Pennsylvania, and then he passed away like a few months later from cancer.
I'm happy you have that nice Flubber memory with your grandfather,
it's
Amanda.
Always what I think about, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I would rather not remember my grandparents and have Flubber memories with them, but that's not true. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, before
you gotta end it on something a different tone than that. I don't know. A lot of good things happening on this show.
Do we have anything else to add? Are we good with what we've determined as far as band replacement goes? Does it matter at the end of the day, Rob? Yay or nay? Does it matter? What's the final answer?
Does anything matter? We're just gonna fucking die eventually, Amanda. None of this is gonna be relevant.
That's the best way to end this episode, guys.
Yeah, all right. Follow us on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music and TikTok and Instagram and all the other things that are important. Go buy your blouses that will end up in landfills in 2 years, and go watch Flubber with your grandparents before they fucking perish, okay? Build some fucking core memories, okay? Go watch the Robin Williams flick. Go watch, what is the Bionic Man one? What's that one called?
Bicentennial Man?
Go watch Bicentennial Man. Go watch 1 Hour Photo with your great uncle. Go put on fucking Jumanji with your grandma before she passes away from SARS, okay?
Or if you want to, like just, watch a movie about what we've been talking about, watch Rockstar, starring Mark Wahlberg and Jennifer Aniston. Watch that movie. And then realize
or go
that
watch School of Rock and realize that when you kick out the guitar player that's the true heart of your band, maybe he's going to go form a band with kids instead, that he is not should not be legally allowed to be supervising. He's doing illegal stuff to be there. Is that something that should end you up on a list pretending to be a grade school teacher? I don't know, okay? I'm not the guy that makes the list. But yeah, go watch Rockstar or School of Rock. Or Rock of Ages, I guess. That's a Tom Cruise. Is that Tom
That's
Cruise?
Tom Cruise. That's
Yeah.
not the
Is Robin Williams in any music-based movies?
not. I mean, he's in Aladdin and he sings in it. Does that
Ooh,
count?
yeah, yeah. I like
I was
Aladdin.
gonna
I
say,
think
go
if I were
watch
to ever
This
have a
Is Spinal
genie,
Tap.
yeah. Yeah, Spinal Tap works as well. I've never been to Cleveland, but hello, Cleveland. Aladdin's a good film as well. I like the parrot. I like that there's a genie. If you had a genie, what wishes would you ask it for?
But I think all of them would have to do with Patrick Stump
Mm,
and
I'd
more
ask mine
wishes.
for lottery tickets. Yeah, I'd be like, yo, like set it up with like the scratchers. And because like the first one I would do, I would think to the scratchers. I'd be like, give me one of those good scratchers where I win like $2,000. Then I'd hit that one. I'd be like, fuck, like I forgot there's like actual lottery. And I'd be like, let's parlay this scratcher into Mega Millions. And then I would win that one. And then I'd be like, third wish is help me do tax fraud so I don't have to pay taxes on my lottery winnings. So, like, fuck. I hope I don't win the lottery because I feel like I just gave my whole game plan away to the IRS.
You did. Luckily, hopefully, they're not listening to this podcast.
No, there probably are. Fuck, because I was seen on Netflix. They're definitely watching.
And
Okay,
on
let's
that
go.
note, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you got something out of today's episode. And keep things Emo, guys. We'll talk to y'all later. Hey guys, again, thank you so much for watching. If you weren't aware, this show is a part of the Never a Phase Network, a collective of creators keeping the spirit of the scene alive. You can discover more shows and creators like this one at neveraphasenetwork.com and follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Never a Phase Network. Long live NapNet.